Okay, every single time you log into a website or see that little lock icon pop up in your browser, you're using two of the most important security tools in the entire digital world. But here's the thing, they are not the same, and understanding the difference between them is, well, it's everything. We're talking about hashing and encryption.
So here's our game plan. We'll kick things off by covering the core difference between the two. Then we'll dive deep into hashing's digital fingerprints and encryption's secret codes. After that, we'll look at the keys they use, see how they team up in the real world, and then we'll wrap up with a little peek into the future of security.
All right, let's start with the big question.
You might be thinking, okay, this sounds like a bunch of tech jargon, but trust me, these are not interchangeable terms. Getting them mixed up isn't just a simple mistake, it can lead to some really serious security breaches. And as some pretty big companies have found out the hard way, it can turn into a massive public relations nightmare. Yeah, when a company gets this wrong, it can cause a huge public outcry. After a data breach, Adobe actually mixed up these exact terms in a press release. That little slip-up totally shook public confidence in how well they knew their own security. It just goes to show you the stakes for understanding this stuff are very, very real.
So first up, let's talk about hashing. I want you to think of hashing as creating a unique, one-of-a-kind digital fingerprint for a piece of data. Its main job isn't to keep things secret, but to prove that the data is authentic and hasn't been messed with.
Think of it like a blender. You put your data in, it could be a password, a whole file, anything. And this unique, fixed-size code comes out. That code is the hash. But here's the critical part. You can't use that code to get the original data back. It's a one-way street. It is totally irreversible.
And this right here perfectly illustrates the power of hashing. Take a close look. By changing just one single letter in the input text, the output hash becomes completely, totally different. It's unrecognizable. That's called the avalanche effect, and it's what makes hashing so incredibly good at spotting even the smallest change.
So where do we actually use this? Well, it is the absolute backbone of secure password storage. When you create a password, the system doesn't store your actual password. That would be crazy. Instead, it stores its hash. It's also used to verify digital signatures and to make sure the file you just downloaded is the exact one the sender intended, using something called a checksum. Let's make this real with a quick story. Imagine Alice is a vendor, and she sends an invoice to Bob. Along with that invoice, she also sends its hash, that unique digital fingerprint.
But a hacker, we'll call him Todd, intercepts it, and he sneakily changes the bank account number to his own. Now, to the human eye, the invoice looks perfectly fine, but the underlying data of the file has been altered.
So when Bob receives it, his computer automatically runs its own hash on the document it just got. It compares its new hash to the one Alice sent, and they don't match. The computer immediately flags the document as tampered with. And just like that, fraud is prevented. That right there is data integrity in action.
Okay, so if hashing is all about proving data integrity, what do we use for actual secrecy? Well, that's where encryption comes into the picture.
Encryption is like putting a message inside a locked box. It's a two-way street. You use a key to lock it, which turns readable text into a scrambled, unreadable mess called ciphertext. And here's the important part. You absolutely need a key to unlock it and get the original message back.
Now, its number one job is confidentiality, making sure that only the person who's supposed to read the message can actually read it. But it also helps with a few other really cool things, like authentication, to prove who sent the message, integrity, to make sure it wasn't changed, and even something called non-repudiation, which is a fancy way of saying the sender can't later deny that they sent it.
So let's talk more about these keys. How do they actually work? Well, there are two main types, and understanding the difference between them is absolutely crucial for understanding modern digital security.
And this comparison is, well, key. On one side, you've got symmetric encryption. It's simple. It uses one single shared key to both lock and unlock the box. But the really big innovation is asymmetric encryption, which uses a pair of linked keys, a public one for locking and a private one for unlocking.
You can see the difference so clearly here. On the left, symmetric single key has a huge problem. How do you share that key safely in the first place? But on the right, asymmetric solves that problem brilliantly. The public key can be shared with anyone in the world because only you have the private key that can actually unlock the message. It's a game changer.
Okay, so now let's see how these two amazing tools actually work together to protect you every single day. You see, they're rarely used by themselves. Their real power comes when you combine them.
Think about that little lock icon in your browser when you're on a secure website. That's both of these things working in tandem. Encryption is scrambling all the data traveling between you and the website. At the exact same time, hashing is being used to create and verify the site's digital certificate, proving that it's the real deal. They are an incredibly powerful team.
So what's next? What's on the horizon? Well, this digital game of cat and mouse never ever stops. As our computers get more and more powerful, so do the tools that are designed to break these security measures.
The next frontiers are honestly pretty wild. I mean, imagine being able to process data while it's still encrypted. That's called homomorphic encryption, or using the bizarre rules of quantum mechanics to create truly unbreakable security. There's even something called honey encryption, which is designed to actively feed hackers fake, but believable, data just to trick them.
But there is a huge challenge coming: quantum computers. These things are so powerful that they could potentially shatter the asymmetric encryption we rely on for almost everything today. It's forcing us into a race to develop brand new quantum-resistant algorithms just to stay one step ahead. And this all brings us to one final provocative thought. As technology just leaps forward both for protection and for attack, the race to secure our digital lives is only going to get more and more intense. And that means the need for all of us to understand these fundamental tools has never, ever been greater.